Chemically speaking, your brain is just one big blob of water and fat. And some protein. It's the calorically greediest and fattiest organ in our body, having a lipid composition of at least 60%. Now, with all this fat, you would think that the brain could stand to skip a greasy meal or two. But it turns out that maintaining this fat composition is essential to your brain's health. And not just the amount of fat, but the specific types of fat that you consume on a daily basis have a direct effect on the moment-to-moment quality of your brain's most critical functions. Our modern-day obsession with diets, especially low-fat ones, has led to an amass of misinformation and misunderstanding about the critical role that fats play in our daily lives. But in this brain snack, you'll learn which fats have been proven to optimize your brain's health and performance, boost your mood and memory, and offer lifelong protection against brain crumbling disorders. So there are two basic types of fats. Well, three depending on how you look at it. Saturated fats, unsaturated fats, and trans fats, which are really polyunsaturated fats that behave like saturated fats. Avoid trans fats like the plague. The saturated fats are essential, meaning that we don't make all or enough of the kinds that we need in our own bodies and must therefore consume them in food. They're important components of our hormones and cell membranes and are integral in helping us all gain enough weight to survive once we're born. Now, historically, saturated fats have had a bad reputation out here in these streets. For decades, misguided nutrition science and biased government policy have caused a frenzy over supposed artery-clogging butter and other high-fat foods. And we replace those foods with things much worse. But the truth is, saturated fats aren't good or bad for you. Most natural foods that are high in saturated fats are fine, and in some cases great for your health. These include foods like avocados, coconuts, and grass-fed beef. The effect that saturated fats have on your body and brain largely depends on whatever else you're consuming them in or with, which in the case of a majority of American households is a lot of carbohydrates. Here, saturated fats magnify the inflammatory effects of ultra-processed, carb-dense, and nutrition-poor foods, which has the effect of hiking up insulin resistance and draining your brain of its superfuel, BDNF. In a study conducted by researchers at Ohio State University, the equivalent of 11 tablespoons of butter were consumed by participants each day for 2 months, with virtually no deleterious effects. Only when this amount of fat was consumed in combination with a high-carb diet did it elevate their blood sugar levels, their levels of blood fat, and cause the participants to gain significant amounts of weight. So yeah, a high-fat diet is better than a high-carb one, and way better than a high-fat and high carb one. When saturated fats are coupled with nutritious foods, like when you eat your spinach with chicken or eggs, it actually increases the absorption of key nutrients and vitamins in those foods. In fact, some brain boosting nutrients like the carotenoids in carrots and kale can't be absorbed by our bodies at all unless in the presence of this fat. Additionally, saturated fats are the most chemically stable out of all of the different types of fat, meaning less free radical generating oxidation when it's broken down by our bodies, and less chemical damage when it's broken down by heat. This fact makes saturated fats like coconut oil, grass-fed butter, and ghee the best choice for cooking at high temperatures, much more ideal for our bodies than the more popular polyunsaturated oils we use like canola or vegetable oil. Natural and healthy sources of saturated fats include grass-fed beef, eggs, chicken, coconuts, olives, and extra virgin olive oil. And I know dairy ain't everybody's thing, but they're also found in copious amounts in milk, cheese, and butter. Now, unsaturated fats are also essential. We need them, and some are even great for your body and overall health, but some are not. There are two main types. Monounsaturated fats are your brain's best friend. They're the second most chemically stable type of fat and the main component of your brain's greasy cables known as its myelin sheath. This thick fatty substance coats the axons of your brain cells, protecting them and allowing electrical impulses to travel much faster than if they weren't there. In other words, myelin helps you think faster and more efficiently, and its integrity impacts a long list of cognitive functions, including your intelligence, reaction time, memory, mood, attention, your learning, and so much more. Along with exercise, diet is the most powerful way to maintain or destroy the chemical quality and consistency of your myelin sheath. High carb, high sugar, and alcohol-heavy diets wreak absolute havoc on your myelin, and wear it away. A high-fat diet does wonders for thickening and maintaining the richness of this fatty tissue. But not just any high-fat diet. I'm talking about eating loads of the monounsaturated fats found in abundance in foods like avocados, macadamia, salmon, almonds, walnuts, and extra virgin olive oil. You can eat these foods in relatively generous amounts, knowing that instead of your thighs, the majority of these fats go straight to your brain. Polyunsaturated fats are a little bit more two-faced and complicated. They're like the Geminis of triglycerides. On the one hand, or face, you need them a lot. And on the other hand, you need to avoid them, like your life and your brain depend on it. Let me explain. Omega-3 fatty acids are probably the most famous polyunsaturated fats, and with good reason. Their list of brain and body benefits is long. Two of the most important omega-3 fats are eicosapentaenoic acid. Did I say it right? Or EPA, and DHA, docosahexaenoic acid. Both are anti-inflammatory agents, meaning they reduce the chemical destruction caused by the free radicals that form when we break down our food. But while EPA acts as a free radical fighter in our entire bodies, DHA tapers its inflammation in our brain. Aside from being critical to the proper growth and development of everybody's brain, DHA is also the most important and abundant structural component of healthy brain cells, promoting the fluidity of your neurons' membranes, which ultimately allows them to transmit and receive signals faster and more efficiently. A final critical job that DHA has in the brain is the direct role it plays in increasing BDNF, dubbed as miracle growth for the brain. BDNF helps you grow new brain cells in key areas that help bolster your memory, mental health, and executive function. So suffice to say that foods high in omega-3 fats should be stapled in your diet. And foods high in omega-3 fats are mainly fish. Eat these fish 2 to 4 times per week and you'll satisfy this brain boosting requirement. But remember how I mentioned the dark side of polyunsaturated fats? Compared to the other types of fats, polyunsaturated fats are the most vulnerable to oxidation and therefore do the most chemical damage when we eat them. But when they appear in their natural state, intact in whole foods like fish and walnuts, they're usually bundled with antioxidants that guard them from this chemically explosive breakdown. This isn't the case when polyunsaturated fats have undergone heat or chemical processing though, such as the majority of polyunsaturated fats that Americans consume today. In these cases, they become a toxin, almost on the level of trans fats, producing brain-crumbling aldehydes, zombie-like free radicals, and apocalyptic levels of inflammation. These are the oils that stiffen your arteries, that cause you to pack on them pounds, and that accelerate the aging of your body and brain. Here's a list of some of the chemically processed polyunsaturated oils to look out for. Now, some of these names might surprise you, especially since many are marketed with wellness buzzwords like organic and non-GMO. Don't be fooled. Stick to your coconut oil, avocado oil, olive oil, and maybe even a little butter. Leave that other stuff on the shelf. Now, do I even need to talk about trans fats? Processed polyunsaturated fats are fats you should avoid. Trans fats are fats you should fear. They stiffen the membranes of your neurons, cause your brain to shrink, and even cause relatively immediate memory problems in healthy people. Their regular consumption increases your risk of almost every disease by over 30%. That's cancer, stroke, heart attack, Alzheimer's, you name it. These fats don't belong in your body. They don't belong in your brain. So keep them out your mouth, period. So in sum, saturated fats, put an exclamation mark on whatever you eat them with, good or bad. A diet rich in monounsaturated fats makes for a faster, fuller brain. Performed polyunsaturated fats, like the ones found in fresh foods and fish, can and should be eaten liberally. And processed polyunsaturated fats shouldn't be eaten at all. If you found anything interesting or useful in this video, if you learned something, please like and comment and let me know what that thing is. And if you think someone else will find it useful, baby, share your snacks with them. And thank you for watching. See you next snack time.